It's time for Caleb's choice.
His choice.
His rules. All right.
All right. My first question today is a two-part question.
Oh man.
Yeah. So, if you're going to be a teacher, what grade would you want to teach, or what subject? And then, what fictional school would you want to teach at?
Fictional school?
Yeah.
All right.
Huh.
This
You got to go first. You asked that kind of question. You got to give us your answer so we have time to think.
Okay. I would be a science teacher, and I like to teach at the Hickory High School from Hoosiers, 1950s.
Oh, look at that!
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Normandale, baby. Normandale.
Yeah. One of my favorite movies.
Who wants to go next?
I'll go.
Okay.
Look, I don't really care what grade I would teach, but that's easy. I'm a big time, like I said, I may like sports, but I'm a big time nerd. I know you guys, a lot of you guys know that. I would definitely be a teacher at Hogwarts, 1,000,000%.
There you go.
Hogwarts.
That, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Holly, you got one?
That's something else.
So fun Holly fact, I actually used to be a teacher.
Oh.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I taught preschool and kindergarten, and I can tell you that I love the children, but it's not my jam. Not my jam. So oddly enough, I failed and went into the tech world. So I think if I had to do it again, maybe like 7th or 8th grade English.
Okay.
I really like English. And the school I went to, it would probably be a Tinkerbell movie, but they actually have to all go to school to figure out what their gift is to be a fairy. And so, like, I don't know, some school, I don't know what it's called, but I would love to figure out what my, fairy gift would be. And Tinkerbell is called Tinkerbell because her gift was to be a tinker. Like,
There's literally no better fit in the world than that, right?
Yep.
Like, that's like the biggest fit in the world, I think. Absolutely. So.
So you got one?
No, you got one.
Yeah, I really don't.
Yeah, you do.
I would teach. You said age?
Well, yeah, subject or age or.
Oh, hell, I gave you all of it.
Yeah,
That's good.
So I don't have any. I would guess high school because I coach high school girls basketball, and they actually do what I ask. And kindergartners don't always do what I ask. And I can only imagine at my age having to chase 40 kindergartners around all over the place.
That'd be hilarious.
But fictional school?
Yeah.
I have no idea. I'm such drawing a blank on this. I don't know. Do you have one?
No. Well, not a fictional school. I would teach high school math.
I can see that.
I like math.
Nice.
And I get along with the teenagers, so.
There you go.
But fictional school, if I had to pick one.
I can't even think of one.
I don't know. Maybe Billy Madison. With Veronica.
Yes.
I'd teach with Veronica.
Go teach at Bayside. Go say you want to go teach at Bayside.
There you go.
Yeah.
Bayside. See, now all of a sudden I'm starting to get all these movies and TV show high schools rolling in my head.
That's a legit thing, though, Josh. That's a legit thing because, man, honestly, like as a football coach myself, like, teaching youth sports for a long time was fun.
Yeah.
And I love doing that. But teaching, kind of coaching older kids, you get to physically see, you say something and they do something.
Yeah.
Right. And it's some version of what you asked for rather than not anything close. Right. So I really, really, really enjoy that aspect of coaching and, teaching, I'm sure is the same. I was the same, Holly, back in the day I taught preschool for like 2 years or whatever and stuff is like a little thing. So. I've done a lot. Like, I know we didn't cover a lot of that stuff on the podcast, but I kind of look back on all these things, and when people ask, I'm like, man, I've done a lot of stuff, dude. Like,
right.
I have done a lot of shit in my life. Crazy when I start thinking about it.
Yeah.
So.
And touching on that, Bert, too, with coaching, too, I think the difference for me when it comes to that age group, Greg's trying to cheat.
Yeah.
That age group is the fact that you can teach so much stuff to these kids outside of the sport and life lessons. One of the things that I just brought up that I told the kids is don't ever let anybody tell you you're not beautiful. And of course, I coach girls, and I tell them I love them all the time. Right. And it was easy for me to do that because when I first started, I had a daughter in that class, so I knew these girls outside. But
Same.
It's become one of those deals where now they know that there truly is love there. And one of our mottos is being a family all the time. And that doesn't mean it's always easy. So I can teach them things about how people should treat you. And if somebody is just completely just trying to throw you under the bus or negative thoughts all the time, walk away from that person. And that's what I tell them. If you have people in your life that are telling you you're not beautiful, you tell them to come talk to me. And that hasn't happened yet, but so I'm not sure how I'll respond to that.
But it's why I coach, man. I mean, obviously I coach because everybody knows I have 3 kids. I have a 21-year-old, and then I have twin 14-year-olds. And so part of that is just to give them the best experience possible. And they're both super athletes and stuff. So I'm trying to give them every opportunity that they can to get a scholarship and go do some of the things that I wasn't able to do. And so beyond that, it's getting the chance to connect with and change the lives of young athletes, right? I coach girls and boys, and it is, for me, the opportunity. I always tell the kids one thing. I said, just get this much better every day. That's it. If you just get this much better every single day, it's a good day. And so for me, if I have one thing or one kid or one single moment that it affected them and helped, then I did my job. And it's why I love doing this. It's why I've done it in some fashion, version or another, for the last 20 plus years. And I absolutely love coaching. I love affecting young people's lives. And then I like seeing hard work played out directly, like the results, right? I like seeing an instant return on investment, right? You do something during the week, you put in all the investment during the week, and you get that ROI back at the end of the week when you play a game. And so I love that lesson and seeing what it does to those young men. It's one of my favorite things in the world.
Yeah, I have coaches ask me all the time, just like, I don't understand, how does this work? How do you make this? How do you get them to do that? And I was like, the first thing I do is I don't worry about wins and losses. I hate to lose more than anybody I know. Larry Bird put it best. I hate to lose more than I like to win. And that's me. But at the end of the day, it's about relationships. And what I've told these coaches is, if you can get that relationship and you can build that trust, they will do anything that you ask because they know you have their best interests at heart, and the wins will come. But it doesn't start that way. And if you are just hounding about wins and losses and you are that dictator person, you will find yourself, one, probably burned out, but two, the kids will quit on you. And once that happens, it's over,
And Josh, I do the same thing. I share that same thing with them every day, and I'm not trying to jump the gun here or anything.
No.
It's, for me, like personally, like, just in my history, coming from where, I came from and doing what I did, and stuff, and kind of my background, and being able to kind of move up the way I did, which is incredibly unorthodox, right? It's not the normal trajectory of any career. But the reason I was able to do that, or the reason I've always been able to do that, is my relationships, right? I'm a relationship guy. Look, I have faults like everybody else. I've done whack ass shit, and I have a past just like everybody does. And I am very honest about that. I mean, if you guys wanted to get deep into who I am, I have no problems talking about any of those things. I do it all the time. For me, it's, when I boil it all the way down to its essential quality, it's relationships. It's building relationships with other people and fostering those relationships as much as you possibly can, growing those relationships, trusting in those relationships, believing in those relationships, really leveraging those relationships. And I think we lose that aspect a lot. They're my friend, I don't want to, whatever. And it's like, I say this all the time. It's like, if that would have been the guys at BBTF, Don wouldn't have created that company. That's a bunch of his friends that he's working with. And so if you had that feeling that, I don't want to ask a friend, or I don't want to see if I can do this with them because that's stepping a boundary, and stuff. No, man, work with your friends, build those relationships, create those true, long-lasting meaningful interactions with other humans
Yep.
that you can then turn and leverage for support, for friendship, for companionship, for an ear, for whatever you need, you know, and they can leverage you for the exact same thing. And when you are leveraging each other for those things, even if it's something as simple as I don't want to be alone, I just want to have somebody to talk to on a space, and that's my friend. Like, that's what community is. That's where the community word, that's what it really is. And one of the things we've been able to do really good here in SafeMoon is building that community. I said it all the time, you know, like I'm incredibly humbled to be able to sit there however long ago. I mean, Holly was there, but you know, when I said it a million times, I want that. I'm trying to find my place in this industry, and I'm trying to figure out where I fit in. And I know what I'm doing now is not what I want to do forever. I know that that I feel, the passion, the fire that I get when I talk about crypto, and that's what I want to do. And I want to leverage that for the rest of my life. I want to be talking to people and enjoying to my time and working in that space because it's what I'm passionate about. And I'm not Crypto James. I'm not a blockchain expert. I'm not any of that stuff. I'm not Don. I can't tell you the inner workings of how the reflections or rewards work, or I don't have that mindset, but I have a ton of projects that I'm thinking about. I have a ton of really cool ideas that I have there because that's my personality. I can talk really cogently about that ideas, and then I can get extremely passionate and communicate that passion to other humans. That's a skill. And it took me a while to really understand that and say, hey man, that's where you fit, and that's where you fit. Let's get it.
Yep.
And so I'm incredibly humbled just at the possibility to be able to work with a company like Mirror Protocol and to do those kind of things, and to have the opportunity to work with those guys and to do that and to be part of the BBTF ecosystem. It all comes from relationships. It comes from me reaching out to Gotti in a DM 7-8 months ago and just saying, hey bro, I'm really stoked for everything that you've done. I love everything you're doing right now with, you know, the other company that he was working with at the time. And I really believe in you guys and all that kind of stuff and you, and I just wanted to let you know that. And that was it. It was something along those lines. And then, you know, down the road, I probably sent him another email. And then all of a sudden he says, hey man, you want to come with me and do this other thing? And I said, sure, let's go do that. And I did that for a little while. And then he got pulled away to do Mirror Protocol. And so it's the relationships that you built with somebody, you know, it's being able to get into that space and just talk to anybody like your friends. And it doesn't matter who you are or where you've come from or any of those things. So when I share my experience, you know, with people that I coach or kids that I coach, young men, young women, I really try to hammer home the point. It is all about the relationships that we build. That's where your magic really happens, because that community is really going to carry you to the next level.
Well, I can tell with your passion, if I was one of your players, I'd run through a brick wall for you. So, yeah, that's awesome. Bert, I have no doubt that whatever you're going to do, you're going to be successful in it. No doubt whatsoever.
Thanks, Josh. I appreciate that, man.
All right, my second question is a little easier.
Okay, good.
Thank God.
Yeah. What's your go-to late night snack?
It's easy.
Oh.
What's yours?
Yeah.
This is a glass of sweet tea and popcorn.
Okay.
That's what I go.
Josh?
Bowl of cereal.
Bowl of cereal?
What kind of cereal?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I mean, it kind of matters, but we always have 4 or 5 different kinds of boxes because my family can't ever decide what they really like. So I'll find something in there.
Go to, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
when things are bad, it's the secret stash of Nutty Bars in the freezer.
Ooh,
that's
Nutty
hiding
Bars.
from the children.
There we go.
Those are
Secret
mine.
stash. I like that.
Yeah, you got to
idea.
hide them back in the freezer so the kids can't see them or they'll be gone.
Bert, Holly, what about you guys?
Yeah, I'm easy. I'm Sour Patch Kids.
Ooh.
So number one, and like I said, bro, I'm a late night gamer, dude. So I'm Sour Patch Kids and Monster.
Okay.
There you go.
I know it sounds counterintuitive to say for a late night snack, but that's my snack, bro.
That's where you get all your energy.
Yes.
Sugar.
I go through about 10 of these a day.
Oh,
10
wow.
Oh my gosh, Bert.
Wow.
10 monsters
Favorite.
a day. So I live on Monsters and Sour Patch Kids. That's my
Wow.
life.
Woo.
So
Wow.
I'm kidding. I'm joking. But I
I'm going to pray for you, Bert.
I just go through a lot.
Your heart's
Right.
going to need some help.
I know. My heart just.
I have toast, peanut butter, and bananas on it.
Ooh.
That's my I
That's
love
good.
it.
I
I
like
love peanut butter and bananas. Just are so good together on toast. Oh, it's delicious.
Toasted.
Wasn't that Elvis's
Good.
It was
Fries,
favorite
yeah.
snack?
Oh.
Okay, yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peanut butter and bananas.
Oh shit! I had no idea. Hell, but I love Elvis. I mean, I love his music. So.
Day now.
It is
Holly's
good.
going to be in that white jumpsuit any day now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, there you
Right,
go.
right. Maybe
Yeah.
for Halloween. There you
Hound
go.
dog.
There you go.
Little hound dog, dude.
All right, my last one brings back the wrestling side of things.
Okay.
There we go.
Which wrestling character best describes you in real life?
Holly, do you have an answer for this whatsoever? Because
I
I
mean-
already know who your character should be.
Oh yeah.
But go ahead. Do you have one?
Oh, okay.
I have no idea. I mean, I don't. I'm trying to think of like my show, the show I watch.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and out of the two girls, I think I'm more like Nikki Bella.
Nikki, definitely.
Yeah.
Just because she's just kind of the more outgoing type, and I feel like Bree is more of the like nature, and you know, and I love nature and all that good stuff, but I'm more of a city girl, and so I don't know. I guess.
I like it. Nikki Bella, baby. Nikki
Yeah.
Bella.
Yeah.
She's
Nikki
fun.
Bella.
What is she, like a 6-time tag team champion and tag
Right,
team champion?
yeah,
Let's
she
go.
is.
Yeah.
Big time player.
See, when I think of that, Holly, I just have to tell you, you'll look it up later, but they're Bailey, when she was
Correct.
face with the inflatable, whatever
Yeah,
those things
the
were
hug,
called,
yeah.
and
Oh,
that,
the
Giving out hugs.
yeah,
and-
yeah, the hugger. That's
Who?
just, her name's Bailey.
Bailey. Yeah.
You just
Bailey, okay.
You have to check it out. Right now, she's
But
a bad
it's early
guy.
Bailey, not current Bailey.
Yeah.
Current Bailey is kind of a Karen.
Yeah.
Like a Karen. But old Bailey used to
All
come
right, I wrote
out
her
with
down.
the side ponytail
Yeah.
and all the
Yeah.
bright colors,
Yeah.
and she had the big inflatables.
Yep, that's
Hug everybody.
I think of
Super
Holly when I think
positive.
of
There
that.
you
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
No,
about?
yeah, I can totally. I have pictures of, you know, when I was in high school, I used to wear pigtails all the time.
Mm,
So-
there it is. Yep.
I can see
There you
that.
go.
There it is.
Bert, what about you, man?
Yeah, so that's a tough question, man, for me. I mean, I know who I always identify with, and it's always going to be, you know, Phil. It's always going to be CM Punk, so it's number
Okay.
one first and foremost.
Yeah.
That's always who I identify with, 100%. Not so much the lifestyle, right? You know, I'm definitely not straight edge, so I'm definitely not straight edge. And I'm definitely, I mean, I like punk and I like all that kind of stuff, like rock and everything, but it's not so much the punk lifestyle. It was more the ability to work outside the establishment and do your own thing.
Yeah.
And it took me a long time to realize, like, as much as I like to fit in, and I like to fit in, I like working in teams and other people. I'm not a big solo guy all the time, but as much as I like to do that, it's fit in, I like to have my own voice, and I'm very much my own voice kind of guy. I just do it in a different way than everybody else. I do it without offending everybody. I do it without pissing everybody off by saying it's my way or the highway. I'm always inclusive of everybody, or I try to be. And as much as I can, you know, which I know is a little counterintuitive to what we do on Twitter, or at least what I do on Twitter sometimes, or was doing on Twitter. You know, I very much was a positive guy. And if you were outside of that, again, you know, I said this from the beginning, so my social media was my social media. It's my social media. It's not yours. It's not anyone else's. I get to do what I want with my social media. So if I don't want to, you know, see stuff on my social media that I don't like, then I'm going to block that person and I'm going to move on. And I'm not going to say anything negative. Doesn't mean I hate you. It doesn't mean anything. It just means the headspace that you're in right now, I don't want to see it. I'll mute people sometimes instead, and all that stuff too. But in the end, you know, I understand that that's not the way everybody does stuff. I don't get in your face and push my point of view. I will simply state my point of view with a lot of passion and a lot of fire and a lot of things behind it. And I will go on for 22 minutes talking sometimes, but I'm never going to do so in the negative fashion and try to anger anybody or frustrate somebody on purpose or any of those kind of things. So I think it's a little different than the way everybody else does it, but it took me a while to kind of find that. So that's why, like I say, I always end up like, he's always been one of my favorite characters from forever, from back in his Ring of Honor days. And then when he got to WWE and all that, it was, you know, he was a whole nother level. So like I said, CM Punk definitely is one.
Do you know?
Yeah. Oh,
All
yeah.
right, go ahead.
I would be the Miz, man.
The Miz.
Let's
my-
go. The Miz.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
that would
yeah.
really be my personality. He's always joking around, and I'm always joking around, and that gets you into trouble. Yeah, that's me right there.
Oh, that's a good
That's
one.
Hey,
probably-
there is a guy that literally put his foot in the ground and said, he drew a line and said, I am not giving up.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go anywhere. He knew he wanted to be a wrestler from when he was early on, and Mike did so much stuff to try to facilitate that. Obviously, back in the real world and all those things. You watch the old real world stuff. He was the Miz back there also, and
Right.
so
Same
he
guy.
always believed he was going to do it. And when he finally got to WWE, it definitely did not go as he had planned, and it was very, very, very difficult for him. Very difficult for him to get pogoed, what they call it, where you're up and down, you go up all the way to the top, and then you get slammed down within the next few months or whatever. So very tough life that he had. He persevered, and now look at him. He's a $1 million man. Everything he touches is gold. He's going to be a huge action star coming up in the next 5 years. So I'm super stoked. I love that story. If that to me is a rags to riches story like nothing else. Somebody that went after their dream, got it, and then when it almost got taken away, he refused to let that happen and hung on to it. So it's an awesome story.
Yep.
What about you?
I was trying to think of somebody that's not flashy and doesn't talk a lot, because I don't do that. So I was thinking WCW Goldberg. Basically, got in, got out.
Yeah, but can bring the hammer.
As hot could be, bad. If you want to know what the term OVA, if you want to know what the term OVA is, just go look at 97, 98 Goldberg. You'll see over. So
I think
that is as over as anyone has ever been in the history of wrestling.
True.
No kidding. I think for me, this is going to sound really weird, but Dude Love. Because I always say a bunch of just stuff just to try to make people laugh, and that dude has like more confidence than he should have. And for whatever reason, I've always been that way too. Like, and he doesn't care what anybody thinks about him. I mean, he's just this like weird guy that thinks he's like some ladies man or whatever, and that doesn't really go with me, but I just never really cared what anybody thought, and I just he's just kind of out there and funny, and that's who I would relate with.
Okay, that's
Mick
good.
is one of the greatest characters of all time, man. Mick is one of the greatest characters of all time. There's literally nobody better, dude. Like what Mick was able to do, obviously with Cactus Jack back in the New Japan days, or the All Japan days, and the death matches and all that. The Nesty splash off the ring apron onto the floor, all those things, all the way through to Dude Love and Mankind, and it just, man, rock and sock. I mean, one of the most versatile and phenomenal performers that has ever graced a wrestling ring. I mean, he was the definition of a good talker. Without just being a good talker, he did the whole Bray Wyatt stuff before Bray really did it, right? Talking in the deep, kind of weird, dark tones and stuff, similar to the Undertaker, but without the supernatural side, just the pure vision of Jesus Foley's little boy.
That's perfect.
That is
awesome.
Perfect.
It was. He was awesome. Just watching him in the dark in that Mankind mask and just breaking down, talking about Mrs. Foley's little boy. And I went up to the roof and they told me to jump, and I jumped, and I liked it. And all that, all that stuff was so good, dude. It was just it was next level. It was next level for a 20-something teenage, whatever I was at that time, watching that. I was just like, oh my God, this guy is awesome. It's this fat, not good looking, weird guy in a mask, and he's murdering it, baby. Let's go.
And he made you care about him. It was so weird.
100%. All you got to do is what wrestling's all about. If you care about him, it doesn't matter. That's why The Rock could go out and do something today, and Stone Cold could do something, and Chris Jericho can do something, and they all can do something. Why? Because there was an emotional connection to the character. That's it.
That's actually how we came up with our name, as we were watching Raw in Kansas City, as we were talking about what this looked like, what we were going to do, and Matt Riddle's music hit,
Oh,
and it just went,
Bro.
Yeah, bro.
and that's we're like
Bro.
we all looked at each other, Crypto Bros. Let's just go with it.
Perfect,
So
dude.
that's what we started with. So
Yeah.
That is so perfect, dude. That is
Holly,
so perfect.
your question.
Okay, mine's kind of funny. If animals can talk, which one would be the rudest?
The rudest?
Yes.
It's got to be a house cat.
Oh my gosh, that's my answer.
I was thinking the
It has
same
to be. They
thing.
don't care anything
I was-
about us
that's
whatsoever.
true.
They're just like, rah.
100%.
Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing.
Does anybody
That's
have
a
a
good
call.
different
That is the
answer than
first
house
one.
cat?
I would say the same thing. House cat. for
Yeah, I
sure.
think a cat's probably the best.
Any
Yeah.
animal, huh? Honey
Yeah,
badger.
any animal.
Honey badger.
The honey
Honey
badger.
badger doesn't give a shit.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Favorite
Yeah.
birthday card. Happy
I love
birthday,
that
honey badger.
video.
Don't care.
It's hilarious.
When I see people, I'm like, yep, there's a honey badger.
Yeah,
Yep, that one,
Yeah.
yep. He don't give a shit.
that's hilarious.